Challenges like inadequate infrastructure, limited access to healthcare, and high unemployment, but there is hope.
The Nalolo Constituency Development Funds provides financial resources to address these critical needs. Hear directly from the local leaders and community members on how this funds is driving positive change.
Learn about ongoing infrastructure projects to improve roads, schools, and clinics, small business grants and skills training programs, and social welfare initiatives for vulnerable groups.
Tune in every Friday at 19 hours for the Nalolo Constituency Development Fund radio program. Together, we can build a brighter future for Nalolo.
Don't miss it every Friday at 19 hours. Are you a resident of Nalolo constituency? Do you want to learn more about the resources and funding available to support your community's development?
Tune into the Nalolo Constituency Development Fund radio program, brought to you every Friday at 19 hours.
In Nalolo, we face challenges like inadequate infrastructure, limited access to healthcare, and high unemployment, but there is hope.
The Nalolo Constituency Development Funds provides financial resources to address these critical needs. Hear directly from the local leaders and community members on how this funds is driving positive change.
Learn about ongoing infrastructure projects to improve roads, schools, and clinics. Small business.
A lovely good evening to you, dear listener. Thank you so much for tuning in to Oblate Radio Liseli, catching us on the frequency 105.3 FM. It is yet another lovely Friday at exactly 19 hours. This is a day we get to have the Nalolo Town Council, where we get to talk about everything around CDF. And of course, today it is a very special day because we are talking about everything around CDF impact in Nalolo district. And of course, we do have a very special guest who is the Nalolo District Commissioner, Mrs. Namatama Mutandi Mopo. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you, and good evening, listeners.
Thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule just to come and have this conversation with us.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, dear listener, remember this is the part you get to be attentive, as you can feel free to send in your messages in case you do have questions, everything around CDF impact in Nalolo district. The number is 0974347511. For now, we get to take your messages, and of course at exactly 19:30 we will be able to open the phone line. And not forgetting, we are also streaming live on our Facebook page. You can also send through your comments via the comment section. We will be able to read through that. Now, to begin with, the Constituency Development Fund CDF has continued to expand in scope since the New Dawn administration came into power after the 2021 general elections. Now, the CDF was increased from 1.6 million in 2021 to the current over 40 million in 2026. Now, Madam Mopo, just to begin with, and to our listeners there, what has really the impact of the increased CDF from 2021 to date in Nalolo district? What has been the impact?
The impact of CDF in Nalolo has been so much, such that from 2021 there was nothing to really talk about concerning CDF, because the amounts of money involved at that time was very low. We started now seeing an impact when the CDF was increased to 26,000 kwacha, and also 40,000, which we've already talked about. That is the money that is being dispersed now by government for the CDF projects. The impact that has been made with this amount of money is quite huge, because development in Nalolo around 2021 was not really there, because as I've already mentioned, the amount of money that was being disbursed was not really much to have an impact on the projects that were being carried out. Currently, we started now kicking off from 2022, that the money was increased to 2025. So I will read out the projects that have been completed from 2022 to 2025. That has made a lot of impact in terms of CDF projects. So starting with the free education, which is the UPND New Dawn government policy, we have a huge enrollment of our pupils who are failing to access education because of failure by their parents to pay for them. Now the enrollment has been so much because everyone, including those who fell out of school, they dropped out of school, they have come back to school because of the free education that has been introduced by the New Dawn government. I will now start listing them one by one, those projects which are completed in Nalolu from 2022 to 2026 in Nalolu district. Number one, you know that when you enroll in big numbers, the classroom space is always limited. So the project for government was to increase the classroom space for the children, pupils who are being enrolled back into school, and also the new entrants. Nalolu has so far constructed 22 1x3 classroom blocks, the whole Nalolu constituency. And also, it has not gone without where children have to sit. Because before, children were sitting on the floor. At the time I went there when I was appointed in 2021, I found the children, even the limited number that we had, sitting on the floor. But now with the increment of the enrollment that we have, we are increasing space of classes and also providing for the desks for the children to sit on. So I have already said 22 1x3 classroom block has been constructed in Nalolu. Therefore, we also procured 8,380 double-seater desks for the pupils to sit on. We have also constructed 4 maternity annexes in the district using the same CDF. We have also constructed 3 mothers' shelters. We have also drilled and installed 36 solar-powered water reticulation systems. We have also constructed 20 flashable toilets. Constructed also 7 staff houses in the district. We have upgraded 4 hand pumps to solar-powered reticulation systems in primary schools and health facilities. We have also procured medical equipment for 2 maternity annexes and 1 health facility. We constructed 2 health posts equipped with medical equipment, Liande and Liamutinga. Yes, we have also constructed 3.5 kilometer gravel road to Liamutinga Combined School. We have also constructed a dormitory at Nambwaye Secondary School across the West Bank. Sponsored about 257 pupils and awarded 728 skills development bursaries. Nalolo Town Council has disbursed a total amount of 23,463,860 kwacha to 619 clubs, cooperatives, and individuals in form of loans and grants under the Constituents Development Fund, CDF, between 2022 and 2025. A total of 487 clubs and cooperatives have benefited from the CDF grants component worth 10,200,750 kwacha between 2022 and 2025. While 132 individuals and clubs received loans worth 13,263,110 during the same period. In 2022, the council disbursed loans to 32 beneficiaries worth 2,700,000 kwacha in 2023, a total of 3,222,110,000 was disbursed to 37 loan beneficiaries. The council also disbursed 3,619,000 as loans to 32 beneficiaries in 2024, while 31 beneficiaries received CDF loans in 2025. The local authority also disbursed 3,619,000 kwacha CDF grants to 90 clubs and cooperatives in 2024. While a total of 165 clubs received CDF grants amounting to 2,483,250 in the year 2025. These are some of the projects that CDF has done in Nalolo, and as I've read out even the figures, the amounts of money, huge, in millions. This shows that Nalolo has also benefited from the national cake through CDF, and these amounts of money. These amounts of money have really made an impact on the ground in the Nalolo district.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Madam Mupo. You have highlighted a number of infrastructure projects that are taking place in Nalolo district from the year 2022. Now let's talk about how you would rate your council in terms of performance.
In terms of performance, I would say I will rate our council maybe at so far 80%, because at the time that they are dispersing the money and doing whatever we are doing, we should also consider that this decentralization came into the New Dawn government, UP and the New Dawn government. Therefore, there's a learning process there. When something new pops up, there's a lot to learn. But at the same time, there's learning on the other side, and there's implementing on the other side. That's the reason why I would say I give them 80% for what they've done, because they have not just sat back to say we are learning. Therefore, after learning, that's when we implement. But they have moved side by side with learning and implementation on the other side. So I will rate our local authority as Nalolo at 80%.
Okay, great. Remember, dear listener, the number is 0974-347511. The phone line will be open at exactly 19:30. For now, you can send through your messages. You can ask questions. Of course, everything centered around CDF in Nalolo district. We're looking at the impact of CDF in Nalolo district. And if you're just joining us, remember our guest in studio is the Nalolo District Commissioner, Mrs. Namatama Mupo. Now, just moving forward, Madam Mupo,
Yes.
you did highlight that how you rate the council, Nalolo Council, is at 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the improvements in the infrastructures in terms of the health education sector. How has it improved?
There's a lot of improvement in terms of health delivery there, in terms of infrastructure. Because as I've already alluded, that in 2021, we never had these maternity annexes that we've built this time around. So when we compare previously with what is happening now, I would say the Nalolo district has moved a mile ahead of development. Imagine all what I've alluded here has just happened in 4 and 11 months that the New Dawn government has been in power. And therefore, all the building infrastructure that I've mentioned here has only happened in the past 4 years, 11 months. Meaning that a lot has happened. Yes, in terms of building infrastructure, a lot has really happened. As I would say, Rome was not built in a day, but we have started building our district using the CDF money, which is money from the government, from you people. Government is yourselves. This money is being utilized to develop our district. Therefore, I would say the vehicle has started moving. We are progressing well, and come 2026, going into the other 5 years, Nalolo would have done a great and marvelous things in terms of infrastructure development in our district. Yes.
Okay, great. Even as you are highlighting that, Madam Mupo, let's talk about, are you receiving support from, relevant stakeholders in terms of the CDF programs that are being implemented in the district?
Yes, we are receiving support from all the stakeholders. Yes, from the 4 corners of Nalolo district. The support is there. Everyone has welcomed the program of CDF with both hands. Nalolo being a rural district, which was just developed, which was just created in 2014, we are in a hurry to develop our district. So everyone from all the four corners, all the stakeholders have come together to receive the development that we are receiving from the New Dawn government under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia. I thought those contractors were coming from outside Nalolo. And yet the contractors are from within ourselves, within the community. So when we talk about contractors, yes, we have our own born and bred contractors in Nalolo. And not only having those, but delivering quality service, yes, in the same district. Yes, we have.
Okay, great. Madam Mupo, let me just take you back to, the notable improvements. We did highlight the education sector as well as health. Let's talk about the water and sanitation. How's the situation like in Nalolo district?
Water and sanitation, as I've already alluded to say, we are upgrading and we are drilling boreholes and all these facilities that we have as the directive from our president to say that every government facility must have running water. Earlier on, we had some hand pumps, but now, after the directive was given, Nalolo has moved swiftly to start drilling boreholes at these facilities. As you have seen that, I've just reported to say we have drilled 36 solar-powered reticulation systems at these government facilities. So we are on course with water.
Okay, great. Even just before we get into the next question, there are messages that are coming through, and from Richard from Katava Ward, who says, how's the repayment of loans going on? But before we get into that, let's just talk about, aside from the community projects that Nalolo has performed, in terms of other CDF components like grants and boarding secondary schools and skills development, how is it like?
Before, people didn't know about it much, and the response was very low from the communities. But the local authority jumped on the wagon to start sensitizing the people that we have money here lying for you to go to school in terms of bursaries, secondary schools, those most vulnerable children who can be sponsored by their parents to go into secondary schools. And the response now, as I was just reading out the figures here, shortlisted here, you have seen that the response is overwhelming now. For those who are applying for grants, who are applying for bursaries to go to the secondary schools, there are quite many. The response is overwhelming. Yeah. So coming to the question about the repayment of loans, that one I wouldn't really know about how it is going, as you are aware that we have people who are in charge in every program that is happening in CDF. That one is a responsibility of those who are in accounts to check how many have paid, how many have not paid. How I wished that question came before I came here. I would have gotten the proper response from the accountant, from the local authority.
Okay, great. Remember, dear listeners, we only have 5 minutes to open the phone line. Number key is 0974347511. You can feel free to text us for now. Of course, the messages are coming through. We'll be able to, Madam Mupo will be able to respond to those questions. Of course, everything centered around the CDF implementation in Nalolo district. Now, Madam Mupo, let's talk about, you did highlight about the successes of, Nalolo district in terms of CDF. Let's talk about the challenges. What challenges has the council faced?
The challenges, yes, in every process that you do, you cannot rule out the challenges. As you're aware that Nalolo is in 3 parts, we have the East Bank, we have the Barosi Plain, Nalolo Plains, and we have the West Bank. Our challenge is that, or the challenges that we're facing in Nalolo, is accessibility to the West Bank. such that when we are constructing maybe these 1x3 classroom blocks and whatever, the process to take the building material on the other side has always been a challenge, because the road infrastructure is still, of course, the former minister, Honorable Charles Miroki, promised that after the elections, the road will be done, because that road is connecting from Kaungaluet to Kalabo. Yes, that very much we know. But since we are talking about challenges now, that's a challenge we have. Just like I have said that Rome was not built in a day. Yes, we started first of all with construction of the road on the east bank, which is going to the Royal Village, Royal Palace there, down to the harbor, the Waveriro there. The road was something else before, but it was constructed to bituminous standard. And also the street lights were put there. So, since we are talking about CDF, Rome was not built in a day. Accessibility in the plain also has been a challenge. Government has managed to attend to these other issues as the beginning to kickstart development in Narok. For now, that's why government needs to continue working on the remaining projects so that Nalolo can be like Mongo, can be like Lusaka, yes, if I would compare with other developed districts.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Dear listener, it's just 1 minute for the phone line to be open. Remember, everything centered around impact of CDF in Nalolo district. Remember to stick to the topic, as those are the questions. The questions that you ask should be centered around everything around CDF impact in Nalolo district. Number key is 0974347511. The messages are coming through, and of course we'll just take one short break, and when we come back we get to answer your phone calls as well as read through messages that are coming through.
The Nalolo Constituents Development Fund Radio Program, brought to you every Friday at 19 hours.
In Nalolo, we face challenges like inadequate infrastructure, limited access to healthcare, and high unemployment. But there is hope.
The Nalolo Constituents Development Funds provides financial resources to address these critical needs. Hear directly from the local leaders and community members on how this funds is driving positive change.
Learn about ongoing infrastructure projects to improve roads, schools, and clinics, small business grants and skills training programs, and social welfare initiatives for vulnerable groups.
Tune in every Friday at 19 hours for the Nalolo Constituents Development Fund Radio Program. Together, we can build a brighter future for Nalolo.
Don't miss it every Friday at 19 hours.
Dear listener, welcome back to Oblate Radio Liseli, of course, catching us on the frequency 105.3 FM in Mongo, and this is the Nalolo CDF program. If you are just joining us, remember we are talking about everything around the CDF impact in Nalolo district. And of course, our guest today in studio is Nalolo District Commissioner, Mrs. Namatama Mupo. So everything centered around the CDF impact in Nalolo district. Remember, the phone line is open. Number key is 0974347511. We will be able to answer your questions according to the topic. You're through to Oblate Radio. Hello.
Cha.
Shangwe.
Batushwani.
Anda mtoschwana.
Mtozande.
Ensha question.
Batushwani with DC.
But we utozi hande shami na mutozi chwani shango.
Mtozande.
Kiwitu mero.
Uzamana wakon kwa mande.
Shangwe.
Nani puza inyanifa.
Ensha.
Kon kwa mande.
Ensha.
Uyibona wani basic classroom.
Ensha.
Ni kwa chuma staff houses ya una nebeli mkwanu.
Shangwe.
kandi kuna mu pulachwani kuzwa 4 nima fresh bottle tabana basikolo klasi iboni kwa chima teo tabana basikolo unafika abona njyewe kwa mandi mu pulachwani kuzwa 4 alukata basipatela sauna yalonde mapulwelo abasali wela kuyama nakupulwa mwana pe mutsa fawo divukuziba kuli ngona kuli kama tizofuna sipatela fuzo hospital fana mfuna fawo namandu abala fibaluna ba wafika ngokupanda andu ilimu chao zinji waswana chao kapachwani yemupuzo kinta inkanduka kwa mwene mwana kwa moyo matore tiara kwa akanswa njika akanswa kwa mwa market huko auna kwa walili kakuli wati ayeweka kuna kali kubereka abereki watu wakuyemera hapa wakuyemera choro na kwa walili kuzafuta nitume yani mbwa kwa manzo ama contractor bati klasi ya yanduli paseko yale wandende babumbaluli batange ma contractor babo na buli buli bakono kuberekera au time ya wale ubayize utire buli nje mu pwe kono kwa mande kona ya tupozini ngulazeo insha
okay disi
litumeza hulushango hapozo yeta hakuzwa kwa mande tausa kuliba mande nuona batereza shango kwa program ya luna ya pili kikuli baitumela kwa 1/3 classroom book ye ya yirwe kono pilaero kimandu batiri shangwe pilaero ya mandu kiyeli teni kuluna kaufela kuli lubone kuli foku ya hiwa miyaho ya moso kuvewe ni mandu kono pili batune batani makuli alubenye maklasi banana baye kwa skolo alufeza alukena mwa next 5 years kolero tani mezi chwalefa seri ya kuli luveye mandu kakuli maklasi una vatiri sinamo bulela aveilwe kafani kafa kono chwala se rufeza kuli banana se bakona kukenela mwa maklasi abasaina malikota bakenisa bungata babona kabakenisa sikolo samahala fatwale mungendenge olukena kubona kiwa mandu ababereki isi ngifera kwa mande kona ni mwali bakazi mkaufera mane ni kwa lipatela isi ngifera kwa likolo kakuli baluti manesi batuka kuina mwa mandu amande ni hape taba yali mbuzi niona sikumukire wena mweteneli wanaha haike nge kwanu kuluna asikumuka kwa mwene okono anizimu nikabira musiruza nishangwe kumulezwe kuli tompe hiye na mweteli wana haye wambozi kuli fokuna ni muyaho kaufela wa muso kulukela kuyafate ni malimbuzi kapa maipato kwa maipata watu ale asikuwa ni mezi akuli batu abakena mwa maipato kima ipato ala eza kuli kifa amuzwa mwateni kuzusaze maswe akukene kuli hape konji kubata zale zemu za kwitu sisa za kwa kali kono chwale selili kaze ncha kaufela mapuluhero kaufela mwetereli wana haye yana mutompe akainde chilema ubulezi kuli kona kupila batu kaufela kokona nitupatela kubeiwe mapuluhero kikaho lukalire kubera mapuluhero amoyo lukalire kubera mapuluhero aswanela kufela kwa naselimwe kuzwa 4 kwa spatela salu na sestuna iliso na sesinzi kwa liliachi chwale mapuluhero akaufela atalusa kuli afumani ifatu patela kaufela konuzolopi ida ni makalelo inge ona chwalo amu inakuli musali hata amwa hai zazila pili unanifakalera kuina kuna nifafitela ewafiela wezani amuboni zeni zala ameyokumbuluka selika bebi kakaliteni kipeto basheni batabela niyo nazo lopiliye ya UPND New Dawn government ilumayana ni mina likaka ufelaze ezizweze likalaterwa mana ni malaita la sola aswanela kutaha kona kwa 1/3 classroom block yeo aswanela ko bakwate malaita sola kwali mbuzi swanela kufela mezi aswanela kubate akuli aitusisiwe kwali mbuzi kafo twale maternity annexes ba ingemo kuyahalwa ko ku maternity annex kwa mande yaswanela kubate kuzwa fori mbuzi zede mubuza pa musika wale wa kwa moyo na sepa kusana nilingambo musika kiwa bashemi balona kimusika wa BRI kachwalo akubeyewe wanatulimbalimba twasikuwa tutubeyewe fateli toki bakanso kuna nikuba nilingambolo zeka ambolo hande koya ili kuli kufuma ni hikuli kubeleki wachwalo mahala mlonga hamo chwalo nikanso nisepa kona ikalawoza kazi wa Shangwe.
Shangwe, number key is 0974347511. You're through to Oblate Radio. Hello? Whoa, Eric Pelekelo.
Hello.
Shangwe.
Sina Eric Pelekelo kwa number kwa nalo kwa wetu kan wo disi.
Batiri wo Eric kinayo ni ketire mina mucho Shangwe.
Batiri hu ketire ni ro namira ikina kumutwa kwa mteni.
Wait to means Shangwe.
Shangwe ya batiri ni wata kwa mbora fira kwa manafamu kwa kono mgulera ni kususweza fira kuli mkwako wali pakuli mause mona kuvenzo opili kanda kuli mkwako na wali muvile kile sapini niku mkwako wali wezi utofa influence ya mina na lidazo ruwili mwali ofisi mwakuli ukuniko luwanila neke kuli mkena mwali kitafaa kunu mkwako wamina ukunao then kuzafati ni watakuvuza fa pale kama kwa kwezi 1/3 classroom nka brushing block kono nami swali nami kama kono to nyaki kuli malawi ile fati kama ndo ma kono no toka kuli luone kuli kambiri kaza za kala kubereka then kuzafati ni watakuvuza fa boma yali swali ya kuliona pili izamela kai kama imwa na inswani kubona kuli kukuzi zesera miyo yale sali kwezezwa ko tachikula kubona kuli bomaye wakala kutusa ono namuza ko nabo izimo simo kanda kuli zauna kwanzo na zizali kuli nuna we kupekulo kuwa kuli nabo kwa mani kwa bona sala kuingia katafu ya kimauso na mo sawa kinsakuli bona kwanzo kutakuli alona space kwa ni kwazo kuli kutaro kusiale wakaba kinsakuli kwa mo akuna malaiti akuna mkwa kwa mimi na project yazo kwa ngata aselelezi leni ni kwa mambo la pa one donta inozo namba kusaza kuliseli le fa kuinza ni buzanga donta ya ingo kuona kuli wewe mpifa na bache swatini fonto wa buzawa wale contract yana eza na pale ziso kinjizo usili kaza fa kuliza na kai ndi luyemero na po nyeke kulikiringa takuwa tina kwa awa mchango
Jetumezi Shango bo Eric Pelekelo kwa nambwae imanzi bwanda Shangwe. Mukwako wali masabani bulezi bo Honorable Charles Miloke bo former minister wa infrastructure ne bambozi kuli onacho ni mtwanengo basikaeza kale sikakena kale mwali kisaze ne bamboza mukwako wali na wale kuli waeziwa onamo molukena mwa tem yetatamaye baeza mukwako wokuzusa kwa kaungareti kuisa kwa kalamu ili kuli sichaba samabuse bafumane mazamayo amande kakuli kuzwa ko akusikaba nilizo lupilizeza halile mwabuse nilizo lupili kimukwakwa kikaho bo former minister bo president baluna baba isaho upili kwa zulupili yaluna ya bulozi mbiba kazemu bamboze aho ufataba ya mukwakwa kuli mukwakwawo unanikweziwa kasamula waliketiso akuna sesikaye misa mukwakwawo kakuli niluna baba inzi kuba meto abona lusweli kubanyate tandange lubulira kuli bati Shangwe kwanu leketile kono mukwakwa chole balosepisize kuli mukwakwa waeziwa ona mwa tem yelukena ona ye kwa makalero ayona mukwakwa ukave wezizwe neba ambola itabazeo famuko pano omutuna ono wezelizwe kwa mulambwa kwano farali yetuna mine batumusa litabaze kakutia luli kuli mukwakwa wale una mkwezi wakakuli kupila batu ni akupila batu ba haba nakolo ya kufita kwani kwa kaubebe sinase nibulezi kuli butata waluna ki access kwa kuya mabuse bakensa kutoka kwa omuso uisa hulupilo kuzofata ni 4 skolo sa imafua eni nenile pateni kwa imafua eni shandolwa yovina utata wa mezi kikuli nekusana nenunda omutu naholo nani yakwateni nile mamunda omutu naholo nawo eni mine riyo ikamboda nisichava sakwa nasepa nipopelekilo nibaliteni eni shango mwamezi kanako ya munda kuna sesikona kweza hawa kono akukala ingechwana nenibulera kuli kukuyahiwa kaufela muyaho wa muso wa skolo kulukana kuba ni malaiti asola kulukanira kuba ni mezi ale azwa kwa pompi chwale kwatia ni mzogo na kuli batiri lizwelo pili za abrasion block iteni kuzwa fateni kuna ni 1/3 classroom block enelio za mkopano mateli chwale mezi shangwe niwona ata kwa inafua ni misepakuli puzo yali ya chiboma kilili batili kwa lili ya chikwa boma kiko luetera na kukaufela ni kwa mbola ni baba hulu kwa muso konosi nase ni bulezi kuli romane isika ya hiwa mwezi tijilimu ki hainyani UPN dinyodo imazoro pili ya ruviro kono kikuli na hayalu na nesi yaleze ahuru kwa mulaho kulikili kaka ufela mubona kuli makondisa se asikaizi wakali makondisa se asikaizi wakali makondisa se pili yalu na opeleke kiyaluviro kono mkatali mazoro pili yalu na ye kikuli likakize ngata zetu kwa kweziwa twele likaze hali ze ngata zetu kwa kweziwa halikoni kweziwa kaufela zona mwanako elimu kuna nikufuma na folukalela nikoluya next 5 years likaze ngata happen likaeziwa nge mulubone zengata zezizwe ofa wopelekelo bakalumyana nina kuli awa nikokubona hala kuli kutata kufita mwabuse mwale kodolo akona kubala kuli fale kwezezwe fale kwezezwe fale kwezeze chwala muso wali kakuli akunata bakapa kuloko kutata chwanuku yakwate kuna nikufuma na kuli kuna nisisezala kwate na lolo boarding school mwabuse ikatwa ifela mani kwa liyachi ikatwa ifela kakulifa ba Ministry of Education seba kampeni leo nako kwa boarding school ubona kuli musevezi uzama ikaubebe ufene ili kuli chwale banana bakale kukenyala oni muma klasi mo opeleke ba education bateni onako kele bayinelera kwate kulikazazi babonelezwe lupili zeza hala sikolo se sifere kaubebe banana bakale kututela motelo ma dormitory ya kwa nambwai ninelutile mwendine muluboni esinye muluboni not long ago mulubona kwa nambwai ingelo tatu bamu yaho 1 neluto tatu bakule fabalo bala pamimbeta yabana baskolo nebona hala kuli mimbeta nesikafelela hande contractor na sikafeleza kweza mimbeta eminde yenelukela kutabisa baba tali mamane hape ni kwinana ko yetelela kubali baba bala fateni mine lutronyazanyaza kuli contractor yo abiziwe hape mimbeta eba yeze hande kaswanero kulaita ha mattress ayo mukeni mambeta aswanela kunama fambeta kwa balo bezi fateni bai kutweku balo bezi fambeta kutwa 4 mezi kwa dormitory kwali ma abrushini ifelile baezeli mbuzi zale za sikuwa kono akuna mezi amukoni kubuluka abana na wamamatamata omwinisa mwa dormitory mukusina mezi chwale kupo yaruna neli kuli alufeleleze ni mezi mane hape ne kuna ni kupo ya kuli kachenule akunamu yaho mkona kuyaha osina bulilo bwale bobunja matausi dormitory yaluna nebona lakuli Liseli ya kale koko nekile yabanga designed peto nebona lakuli ki flow chola mutali ma flow fela kachenu neluzo tatuba ngona kuli ashe lubata bulilo wa matausi kona abo nolo kwa kenisa niko kusina mulola mwanga fera masila kufiera mateni nikokolopa mateni kafu peto kwake kona alikazesi alezikuli lieziwe minerurumererane ni ba local authority kuli kazeo bali talima mibalieza kuli dormitory yale ibe malobalo abana basikolo amande kulaba inzi mateni baba alahambikiswa kasesene ensha.
Shangwe, remember dear listener, we only have a few minutes left, less than 10 minutes. We just take one last call as we wind up with the program. Whoa, Madam Chembele.
Ensha.
Shangwe, mtozi.
Kuna watu wangosingo.
Kilina ba. Makonoka.
Ensha watu wangosingo.
Weketile Shangwe, mina muchwani mwana Mchembele.
Itume sapila kwa itume ya kumina kwa wengine mwana Mchembele.
Shangwe.
Bali mtewadu Mungu isti.
Shangwe.
Na nipoza mimi nataka kuivuza, mimi nakafanya nalo.
Shangwe.
Mimi kwa program yangu mkamela sini mtanga kama hapo. Mwana mtu nao. Na mimi kama ya kuli ma contractor wa sema vamu. Kiwango kama skills kama trades okay. Kwa mimi nataka kuli kana kwa lolo mweleka swali mwana kuli makaso ama mwa ukuli ma contractor wa site ni kula kuikela mlamo kwa 2 years 1 year au ya kuli gazi wana enza na vakanso kumi navo mweza ngatani ndio mtanisanga babo mina kapa mjenda siria kumi na kana lolo batani kamila ifanya mawanyo ya pakieni kwa kile ndio kufunda kile ndio mo
Letumez Shangwe mwana Mchembele anina kwambola zali council za babamu kakuli mitiri kwa kwambola za council ya Narolo koni ziba zeza ala mwali bakazeni alili zibi hande anika ulera za teni nikapuma sasa za ala kuluna kwa Narolo kikuli onacholo ababe ya na advocates akoli kuna nisakuli sesi ya hiwa batu bangola baeza apply kubata musevezi wakuli ni batakuyaha afeza kubule akuli ni batakuyaha kuna ni mapepa atokwa hala kuli mutu abonese kuli kichaziba mwa musevezi wakuyaha nilweza ngalususweza ahulu ma local contractors balona kakuli masheleni akafumane ya kwa local contractors balona akasiyala masikiliti salona asiyala choni masikiliti salona asiyala masikiliti salona kakuli batu bale abafumana mali bakanjombolola milongo kwa misika ya luna bakanjombolola masawadi kwa misika ya luna bakanjombolola bupi kwa misika ya luna masheleni yao kona masiyalera mutompe ya kainde ichirema president wana haya Zambia ya ile na happy president wa UPND uwezi za hulu kususuweza kuli amunga ma contractors baba iza misebezi amulike kunopa ma contractors baba inzi mwasipaka samina haiba batena musika ya kale kwa hule konji haiba musebezi wo omubatakweza kimusebezi obona hala kuli kubaba inzi mwahala amina akuna baba kona kuweza kapa mwenji batezu kimisebezi kona mukona kuwa kasheza kubale babazwa kwande haiba misebezi kienata chwale mwana lolo lulaterera ona chwalo mwabulerera president walu kainde ichirema kuli amulike kunga batu bomwinami bona pili musikaya kwande kona sesitisa kuli ma local contractors balu naba halubanga ba apeni bona lubabulerera kuli mweze musebezi kukolusisa bamuso kuli musebezi wo mwaza kabukwala nikanako kama shereni aswanela chole ma contractors baluna basebeza handa hulu kuli maternity annex ya pili ba commission ya local government ane batili batilo swalisamu yaho nikukulela kuli onamu yaho waminawo kono olukaisa kuyolekisa mwana hakaufera kuli bayezi maternity annex inge amina kakuli kuluna kuna ni contractors babayeza babakona kwikezi za initiative ya kuli kufita kuli bwe maternity annex ni mataos akachekuwa luna nikube ya nazo towels kakuli materazo towels aina kuinana kuye telele ruli bao kima local contractors aluna mitwala alubona baeteleli babatahani kuto itumira ni kulumba msebezi olweza peto lwabona kulima local contractors baluna basebeza msebezi omutona twale bumwe na mutembere na sepa kuluna kwa nalolo kona morezi zali kachwalo haniko ni kwa labela na councils ama mshangwe
Shangwa DC, unfortunately time is not with us. Of course we can go on and on with the conversation. That was the last caller that we're taking in, and of course as we close the program, DC, your concluding remarks.
My concluding remarks are that we have been this government, New Dawn government, has been tested and tried in the CDF and other projects. Therefore, I would like to urge the Zambian people, including Narolo, our own district, to continue with the development that we have started with President Hakainde Hichilema and the running mate, Madam Her Honor the Vice President Mutalina Mango, so that we continue developing our district. As you have seen, the impact that the CDF has brought, and so many other capital projects that has come by in Nalolo district because of the good policies that the New Dawn government has through President Hakainde Hichilema. So continuity for us is the only key that will develop our district as Nalolo, so that we don't lag behind as the district, because we are now in a hurry to develop Nalolo. And the only person who can develop Nalolo is President Hakainde Hichilema, who has shown a political will to work for the people of Zambia, and also a will to share equal resources to all the districts, regardless of where you are. Those are my last remarks. That is the appeal I'm making to Nalolo district and all the listeners that are listening to us now.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Mupo. Remember, dear listener, unfortunately, this is the part we get to say goodbye. Everything centered around CDF impact in Nalolo district, and our guest today was the Nalolo district commissioner, Mrs. Namatama Mupo. And of course, remember, the Nalolo CDF program comes to you every Friday at exactly 19 hours. For me, Sibongile Lombanyakach, and next week at exactly 19 hours as we continue to spread the light of Christ right here on Oblate Radio Liseli.
Thank you.
Are you a resident of Nalolo constituency? Do you want to learn more about the resources and funding available to support your community's development?
Tune into the Nalolo Constituents Development Fund Radio